Hello everyone, welcome to Death Mute Studio. This is day 2 of 31 Days of Horror. I'm joined by Garreth Gibson.
Hello.
Hello, Gareth. So
Yes.
so day 2, Gib, of 31 Days of Horror. What is your pick for day 2?
So my pick for the 30th is Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, which I believe came out 92, maybe 90, 93, 92. I should, again, like the last one, should have really looked that up, but you know. See if I've got it right.
It is 1992.
Yes. Oh, 2 for 2 with these dates.
Park. That's a wrap.
Yeah. Have you seen Brain Dead?
I have not seen Brain Dead.
Right.
Although I'm a big fan of Peter Jackson through Lord of the Rings, but I've not seen his earlier work.
Yeah, this is
I've seen Frighteners, but I think that's
okay. So this is like, yeah, Frighteners was a nice little middle in between him doing Bad Taste, Brain Dead, and Frighteners was then, so yeah, it was a bit of a gateway for him to start doing a bit more, let's say more, highbrow cinema. But but before that he did 3 films that were very just B-movie, trashy, and fucking hilarious. He did Bad Taste, Brain Dead, and Meet the Feebles, which is basically a very, very, very adult version of the Muppets.
I'm in.
Yeah. But yeah, I've picked Brain Dead. Is one of the most batshit wacky, actually, like, it just never lets you off the hook all the way through. Really low budget, but he basically did so much of it. Like all of his like talent and everything is just on the screen. I know he did a lot of his own effects for Bad Taste. I'm not too sure if it's the same case with Brain Dead. There's not a whole lot of behind the scenes making of and stuff like that about that film, so there's not a whole lot of information. But it's just, yeah, it's just got some of the most inventive like kills and characters, and it is held as one of the goriest films ever made, and apparently even as like a Guinness Book of Records of like the amount of blood that was used in the film. It's fucking way up there. There's just so much blood in there.
Is Brain Dead the one with the weed whacker?
The weed whacker?
Is it like the garden trimmer thing, and he's going around cutting people's heads off with it?
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. He's just basically the story is, it's not that much of a story to it, but it's just this lad who's like stuck in this big house with his mom. His mom's very overbearing, and he's just basically like a bit of a slave, really. And he gets a girlfriend. The mum starts being very jealous and stuff like that, and follows them one day when they're at this petting zoo. That's held this rabid monkey that you see at the beginning getting imported from just somewhere in Africa or something like that.
Oh, like Outbreak.
I don't think it actually specifies, but basically it bites the mum, and then it just goes to the slow descendancy of this mum turning into this fucking zombie ghoul, and everyone, it just suddenly all just goes batshit, and then there's about 50 people in this house, just zombies everywhere. There's just so many sort of inventive kills. There's a priest in it that knows kung fu and kicking heads off zombies and just shit like that. It's just so over the top, but the tone and everything is just done to perfection. Doesn't nothing never seems kind of out of place or anything like that. But yeah, really recommend it. First time I ever watched it was like a late night on Channel 4. I think Mark Commode did like an intro to it. I think me and my brother had watched Bad Taste on Bravo so we were like we kind of got a bit more aware of his earlier films. Bad Taste is down there as well. It was just like a really weird batshit B movie. So when I found out that one was on, I stayed up for it and was just laughing my head off all the way through it. But yeah, one of my favorite zombie films, one of my favorite horror films, to be honest, of all time. Yeah, definitely up there for me. So yeah, that's my recommendation, Braindead.
I will be checking that out because it does,
again,
does
like the last one. I think you'll really like it. It's called Dead Alive in America as well, just in case if you look it up and that comes up, it might confuse you. But yeah, it just I don't know why that was and it's got like a different cover as well and stuff like that. So just more if you're looking it up and that pops up, that's why.
All right, yeah, because I'm on IMDb and I've got Braindead, but the image is Dead Alive.
Yeah, and it's got like a really unrelated image to it. Yeah, so but yeah, it's the proper title for it's Braindead. That's what it was called over here anyway.
Well, mate, yeah, you've sold me. I'm gonna check that out. Sounds like a right old laugh.
Yeah, it really is.
And by the way, Bravo, what a channel.
Yeah. Again, I'll probably be mentioning Bravo a few times on this list from some of the films that I watched, and yeah, it was a big part of my childhood. Yes. Shouldn't have been. It shouldn't be allowed to be a part of anyone's childhood, but it was.
Especially after the watershed.
Yeah, exactly, and that was when I used to. That was my peak viewing times. Yeah, so
that's when Gib came alive.
Oh yes.
All right, well, for my pick for day 2 of 31 Days of Halloween, I've gone with quite a recent one, 2018, Mandy with Nick Cage.
Nice.
Now, this film has been one of my favorite films since 2018.
Yeah.
I just think it
was your film of the year, wasn't it? I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a few people's. It was definitely up there for me as well. I'm trying to refresh my memory of the other films that came out, but it was up there for me as well.
Just because it was not something that I've ever seen before. It was so blatantly style over substance.
It doesn't try to be anything else, does it?
No, it doesn't try and reinvent the wheel or anything. It is what it is. It tells a story, but it tells it with so much creative swagger and an identity. It's a phenomenal film. I love Nick Cage in this film. There was a specific point in Mandy where I can nail down the moment I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And it's the bit with Nick Cage. He's in the biker gang's place. And he snaps one's neck, and he goes, "Yeah!" and he does this scream, and I thought, this is nuts. I love it. It's great. Nicolas Cage is letting loose here, and also the line, "You ripped my shirt, you ripped my shirt," and he gets to go full Nick Cage.
Yeah, in the right film, just yeah.
I mean, Nick Cage was born to be in this. This film was Nick Cage. It's absolutely incredible, and I love the way it matches loads of different styles. Is it in a fantasy land? Is it in somewhere like Oregon? You don't know. You're kind of on the cusp of this crazy batshit hellscape in a way.
Just like a massive drug trip as well, isn't it? Like as the film goes along, it just gets more trippier and trippier.
It does, and you don't really know what's reality and what's drug vision.
Yeah, which and it doesn't really, you don't really need to either. It just can't, it doesn't really affect the story. You just kind of go along for the ride.
Exactly, and I know he'd done like quite a few like good films before it, but I think Mandy was Nick Cage's like reintroduction into everyone's good books again.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd done a lot of straight to DVD or straight to VOD releases, paying off his tax bill. But this is like, oh my god, Nick Cage, he's not washed up. He can do a great film again. And
again, it just showed you, didn't it, in the right film. Put him in the right film. Yeah. It's so good. I need to watch that again, actually.
100%. And he was the director. I'm going to butcher his name now. I apologise.
I've never been able to pronounce his name.
Panos Cosmos.
I'll go with that.
No, weird. I think that's the best we're going to get. But when he wrote Mandy, he originally wanted Nick Cage to play the character of Jeremiah Sands.
Right, okay.
Which I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. He'd be a boss, Jeremiah Sands. But Nick Cage wants to play Red Miller. And then Panos was like, oh, no, I don't know. And then apparently Panos just went, hang on, Nick Cage wants to play the lead in my film and I'm saying no. What the fuck?
Exactly. And that was a big seller, obviously, for people to watch it as well. The trailer didn't. I mean, I thought it looked good from the trailer, but it didn't. I don't think it had it didn't show anything of like how good it actually was. But yeah, you were like, well, it's Nick Cage. It's on Shudder. I'll watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it got like I had to go to the pictures twice to go see it.
Yeah, well, I think I'm sure I streamed it and maybe watched it on Shudder or something first. Or I saw it on some streaming service first, but then the second time we went to cinema with you, watched it at the Fact, didn't we? And
yeah,
with way different experience. And I'm glad I experienced it on the big screen.
Oh, same. I mean, I know now it's within Halloween of 2022, and it's not on cinemas anymore. But if you did see it in the cinema, yeah, I think you're quite lucky because it is a really good cinema experience. But even not, just watch it on Shudder. If you've got it on physical, just turn all the lights off. Maybe drop some drugs if you're that way inclined, and watch it and enjoy it because it's fucking brilliant.
I think you to be honest, I don't even think you need to. You kind of feel like you're on drugs when you're watching it anyway.
It's true, very true.
But it's a great, and it's become like each year passing, it's getting more of a cult following, and there's quite a lot of iconic, scenes in it, and I see a lot of cosplay at horror cons, and things like that.
Chainsaw fights says it all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
great film. Couldn't recommend it enough.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Gib. That is day 2 of 31 films of Halloween. Have you seen Brain Dead or Mandy? And if you haven't, will you? We're not going to force you. Just recommendations, man.